Okay, so I've got something a little different for you tonight, and sometimes my work takes me and I work on railway stations, and I just so happen to be working a morning at Cannon Street, and the Chris Green liveried, or the Network Southeast liveried Chris Green train was there, and bearing in mind I only had at the time, I didn't have any film with me. Mind you, that would have been another issue thinking about it. I don't know, I'll go into that. So, what we're going to do is, we know, I obviously know that Network South East won between June the 10th, 1986, and it ceased operations on the 1st of April 1994. April. And because obviously I was not into photography so much then, although I had been when Network South East was around, but I never would have photographed. So, what's the plan? These were taken on my mobile phone, and you would have not got a film to do this in this sort of characteristics in the type of light we were in. And it depended on what film you had, and you'd have needed to use flash depending on what you were taking the shots of, and so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 6 shots. I don't know if I'm at the last one. I think I'm at the last one. We'll go back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these photographs and I'm going to give them a 1980s stroke 1990s look to them for you. So as I say, it's just these, I think there's about 6 of them in total. Yeah, I think, one more, that's it. So what I'm going to do is move them into a piece of software called DxZone Film Pack, and then I'm going to use some imitation or some plugins that will make them look like a film of that era. The thing is, as I say, it won't be able to achieve, if you were taking the film on the day in the light I had there, you would not got results like this. They would have been much different. So what I'm going to do, when I go over, I'm going to select some films to try out, and we're going to look at the different types of films. Perhaps some more recent ones, perhaps older ones, but obviously some film. And I want to end up using, doing a batch process of these photographs with a particular film I've got in mind. Okay, let's go over there. So we've got the photographs opened up in DxO Film Pack, and I'm just going to select one to start with, and then I'll do a batch process based on what I see and what I like based on film from that era. So we'll pick on this one here. Okay, so down the right hand side you'll see all the different types of films. One of the films I know for a fact was around back in those days was Agfapan 25, and that's incredible. But yeah, so first produced early 1990s and ended in 2005. So you would not have been able to take this shot like this with this film, a 25 ISO film. It just would not have happened. It would have been just a mess, because you'd have had to use a flash gun, and then you get drop off on the flash and all those sorts of things. But it's just, as I say, it's just a demonstration purpose. I don't want to make this video too long, but I want you to also enjoy what I'm doing and what I'm looking at. So we'll look at a few more. So obviously Kodak Tri-X is another film that would have been around then, and it's Tri-X, you can still get it today, although it's slightly had a different tweak to its emulsion. So if we go in, it looks quite clean, but when you actually go in, you can see it's added the grain to the actual shot itself. So yeah, so they started manufacturing in 1954 and it's still available today. So there is that choice as well. I'm going to look at a couple more as well. Okay, this may have been more of a realistic one for you. This is Elite Chrome 400. I remember this back then, and you can obviously see this is a lot more, the actual colours are a lot more aggressive, the grain is a lot more aggressive, but it's still a look I really like, and it gives that feel. I don't like doing Photoshop, you can't really, other than take the train out and cut out these new modern boards here, what could you do? But anyway, that's one, and the one I'm going to go with, I'll show you now. So actually, rather than go to the last one, I just wanted to show you Kodachrome 25. And again, you wouldn't have been able to take this type of shot in this type of environment with that type of film without a flash gun, and you'd have got a really weird, completely different feel to this. let's go on to the actual film. I want to develop these 5-6 photographs in for you to see. Okay, so here it is, Fuji Velvia, perhaps one of my favourite films. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get all the others up and do a batch process of these, and we're going to look at them all together. Okay, so I took 7 photographs in all. I thought I'd talk more than that, but we're just going to look at these now as they are processed as Fuji Velvia, and you can just see this is why I would have chose it. It's just so outrageously vibrant, and the colours and the richness of the tones, not only of the train. I mean, this is like an alchemy of modern phone cameras and a classic film, where you've got the beautiful reds and the blues and the whites and the yellow, and also look at this red on the buffer here. It's just absolutely fantastic. As I say, I used to be a train enthusiast when I was a child, and my first trip alone to London, I was 10 years old, and I went train spotting. I went to St Pancras and King's Cross because I was a little bit wary of going anywhere else by then. My dad actually just said to me one morning, "Do you want to go to London on a train, boy?" And I just said yes, and he put me on the train. I knew I had to make a reverse charge call back in the call box if there was any problems. There was one particular day that did happen, but I will go into these stories at some other point when I do other videos. I spent a few hours at St Pancras and a few hours at King's Cross. Loved the time I was there, and then come back by myself, and then my dad met me at the station. There's a little story for you, but let's just have a look at these photos. And there's not much to say really, other than the fact you can see just how vibrant they are. Let's zoom in a bit, because obviously Velvia was actually known for not having a really tight grain, and as you can see, it's rendered it quite well. And I'm just noticing someone in the reflection over there. That's one of my working colleagues when I was working there the other day. So let's bring it back again. Oops. It's the right size, and as I say, there's only so much you can do with these type of photographs in this environment, and I just grabbed what I could when I had a break to go and do the photographs. And I wanted to get the obviously right. Look at it. Which one of those two do you see looks cooler? And it's not the one on the right. And I think the Network Southeast livery was just absolutely fantastic. And anyway, I was just another thought. I was watching the Paddington feature film the other day, and it was meant to be at Paddington Station when Paddington arrived with the mail, and it was actually Marylebone Station. And one of the dead giveaways, other than the fact I knew the entrance, they actually had the Network Southeast. The 3 little dots on the entrance, and I noticed that first before I realised it was actually Marylebone Station. There you go. And this one's looking. So I'm looking from the front of this 8 car, and obviously it's difficult. I would have loved to have got this at the front end rather than the back end of the cars. So I'll be out at the front end. And taking a shot with the other one so I can see the full front. And I just loved, I understand, I was watching someone else's video on this, and I understand the doors had to be kept a different colour, and there was some reasoning behind it. I think it was a Jeff Marshall video. Thanks, Jeff, I can't remember what it was. Anyway, but that's how I understand, and the door, I think, would have been white as well. And the man himself, Chris Green, and great to see the train named after him. And that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit different from what I normally do with the film photography, but I'm going to try and do a few stories about me when I was a train enthusiast as a kid. Now I don't have many, and I'm trying to wrap my brains for things that happened to me when I was a train enthusiast back in the days of 1977. So watch this space. If you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe, and thanks for watching.